You got to learn how to master money, and you can't just leave it and default it to your 401k. I'm not saying not do your 401k, do your 401k. But what I am saying is there are other ways in which you can take that money and make more money. And so we are learning more and more about how to master money. And love that book.
Welcome. No, God is so good.
These will change your life.
Welcome to another episode of Mastering Money Mondays, where each week we infuse a topic for us all to help us transition from one of being a debtor and or saver into being a wealth creator. I am Mr. Green, and I am a retirement plan manager by day, but by night, I fight for your financial freedom. I am an investor as well and an entrepreneur.
Awesome. My name is Cynthia Pete. I am a financial freedom fighter. First and foremost, I do IT project management. It's my day job, and I am a real estate investor as well.
Now, why do we have Mastering Money Mondays? Why do we have this show, this podcast? Is quite simple. It's because we've been taught. We've been taught how to make money. Go get your education, right? Go get a good job, climb up the corporate ladder. We've been taught how to manage money. Okay, now that you're making money, put your money in a checking or a savings account, or even your retirement savings account, right? Like your 401k, your 403b. However, we have not been taught how to master money. Mastering money meaning taking the same dollar and multiplying it over and over and over and over again in order to become pregnant with possibilities, right? So we are on a financial journey, and we want you to come with. Cynthia and I have been learning from 7- and 8-figure earners, and we have decided consciously to pour into you some of the things that we are learning from them. So again, we can all on this journey together transition from being that of a debtor and a saver into a wealth creator. So episode 17, receipts. Okay. That's what this is, receipts.
Yes.
Hey, we thought it best, right? Because I know y'all see the bow tie. I know y'all see, I see, the jacket, and y'all might think we out here doing it big. I mean, which we are, but we are really no different than you all. So we thought it would be beneficial to kind of talk through myself as well as Cynthia through some of the experiences that we've had within our journey to just kind of paint a clearer picture for you to demonstrate, hey, we are really not that far removed from you all. And if you can listen to us, and if we can do this, you can do this as well. And so we just want to inspire and encourage everyone by just sharing a little bit of our story. So,
and also, just to let you know, this is not just theory, because I know we come out with, time does not equal money. And we're saying all these things, but have we really given you receipts that we're doing it and it's working? So we want to do an episode on this.
All right. So let's get into it, Cynthia. I'm going to turn it over to you so you can share a little bit about, what your journey, how your journey has led you to where you are now, and some of the experiences that you had.
Yeah. So I think, well, one thing that Lonzie and I talked about is putting a portion of my money and my savings into whole life cash value insurance policies, or IULs, so that they're steady gaining money all the time, and not just what the bank is doing at the 0.1%, but it's growing interest at a higher interest rate on the value of the money. The other thing that I do that I'm really falling in love with is private money lending. I said I've done wholesale, I did the fix and flip, all those things. Private money lending is probably the easiest easiest thing I've done with the return on the money. So I did something for me. I've done it both with just the cash I've had on hand, but I've also done it with my retirement. And so with my retirement, I moved a portion of my money into a self-directed IRA. And so oftentimes when you go through your job, or when you go through a financial planner, and it depends on the financial planner, they don't necessarily invest in real estate. And also they might not have access to the most lucrative deals, even if it is in real estate, because financial planners, they have a duty to be safe with your money. Even in my self-directed IRA, they give me warnings when I do investments. But in my self-directed IRA, which is still retirement money, but I'm building on my retirement, I have done 3 private money loans. I've done the first loan I did was with a land developer, and I did $50,000, 50K. And in 1 year, I got a 34% return on my money.
34.
34%. Now you must vet these people. This wasn't Pookie and them and Ray down the street,
34.
talking about this was somebody
Jeez.
who was an investor. They were in construction. They knew what they were doing. They had all the numbers. I knew this
Right.
person from a real estate investment group. I reached out to my real estate mentor at the time who looked it over and said, yeah, it looks good to me. So you must vet this stuff. Don't do this in a vacuum. My second investment was to a land developer. And so on that one, I got a 20% return on my money in 1 year. And for me, when I do private money loans, I do not do them any longer than a year. 6 months to a year, that's it. Okay, so um, and then I took the interest that I made from those previous deals and I loaned that money out. And so I loaned that money out to somebody is doing a fix and flip on a property. And I loaned that money out also for a 20% return that they pay monthly. And so this is how I know, you got to learn how to master money and you can't just leave it and default it to your 401k. I'm not saying not do your 401k, do your 401k. But what I am saying is there are other ways in which you can take that money and make more money. How about you, Lonzy?
Amazing. Yeah. So, my story. First of all, there's so many things that you can extract from what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you all who may just have come into the knowledge of our podcast, go check out episode 8. I believe it's episode 8. It's about IRAs, 401ks, and IRAs, so you can get a little bit more context about what self-directed IRA is. And we had a show about networking, it's maybe episode 5 or 6. So check that out. Networking, because what Cynthia just made mention blends in both of those things quite phenomenally. So for me, man, I'm really new to this space.
Okay.
I had a business that I ran for 10 years. That business took a standstill in 2018, but it was a multi-six-figure business. So I was climbing or the corporate ladder, stepping up the stairway of the corporate while I was running this operation. So made great revenue from that operation, and so I basically tucked it in the savings account because I didn't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
We bought a new house and everything, but I didn't know anything past that. I was able to accumulate quite a bit in my retirement savings account. So I thought I was living, pretty good. I mean, I didn't have any worries. I wasn't worried about nothing, like French Montana say.
You were
But
managing your money.
I was managing my money quite well. But then I started getting older, and I started thinking, and I started looking, and into the future. You've talked about that, your future self, thinking about your future self, and the numbers. It just simply wasn't adding up, and it wasn't growing as fast as what I thought it should. And so I actually invested in mentorship, and I'm very appreciative for that.
Yes.
Because at least what it did through the exposure, it allowed for me to learn and understand new concepts about how money worked.
Mm-hmm.
And also through that mentorship opportunity, I was able to connect with community, and specifically community of individuals that had knowledge and expertise in wealth strategy,
Yes.
as well as real estate. And so what I did was I utilized the assets that I was able to acquire through the ventures that I had through my W-2 employment, and I began to invest in someone that could help me craft a strategy to allow for me to get more momentum on my money so that I could retire or at least exit corporate America within my mid 50s
Okay.
is what I'm thriving for. So as I was speaking with that strategist, she talked about life insurance, how life insurance could be leveraged, and on top of that, the strategist brought a land bank or a land trust deal to us. That deal was $100K, and so what we did was we repositioned our money, we put it into life insurance, and then we took an unstructured policy loan and we invested it into real estate, right? And so that deal paid us monthly and paid us at a 15% rate of interest. And again, similar to you, I love the lending aspect of it because it is just moving paper around. And that's something that, first of all, thankful for you for because you have contacts that have helped me learn about what things I need to check and what things I need to look for with constructing a deal, which by us being able to connect with one another, not just via this podcast, but we were able to connect and be able to orchestrate a deal. And what's so special about this deal, it's not even in the state that we reside in. So we were able to help someone that lives in a completely different state. So let's talk about that deal because the way we funded that deal was in two different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
I funded mine through a life insurance policy and you funded yours. How did you fund yours again?
I funded mine through a self-directed IRA. So you funded money with post-tax money. Mm-hmm. I funded mine through pre-tax money.
Yes.
But you can fund it either way.
Yes. Yes. So that deal it's quite interesting the way that started because first of all it's a 5-figure deal. That deal was 50 total. And so Cynthia and I split that down in half, so 25 each. But the way we came into this deal was quite fascinating and really exciting because we brought, she was a guest of ours when we were doing this podcast on Instagram Live, and she was a guest of ours. And through our introduction, she was listening to our introduction, something that we say each and every time.
Right.
Hey, we're private equity lenders, we're real estate investors, so forth and so on. And so once we came out of that live, she sent me a text and asked, "Did I hear you and Cynthia right?" And like, yeah, you heard us right. We lend money. And so within a matter of 2 months, we were able to make that deal happen. So I don't know if you wanted to talk a little bit more in detail about what that deal was, and how we constructed it or not. But
yes, and so the deal was an investor was buying a fourplex.
Yes,
investor was buying a fourplex, and she was looking. That's something else you learn in real estate, using other people's money. So she was looking for someone to give her the money to buy the property. And so Lonzie reached out to me. We talked to her and we did a couple of things. The reason why we partnered is because I had done these type of deals before, Lonzie had not. So it was also partnering with somebody, business partnership, partnering with somebody, getting your feet wet. I'm sure Lonzie could have given her the whole 50K, but maybe not. But in partnering, you bring in other knowledge, other insight, so you're not doing it alone.
Right.
We even pulled in the Bunny Man, Io. Shout out to Io.
Shout out.
We had Io on the phone going over the deals and the details. And Io is just phenomenal. He does this in his sleep all the time. Yeah. So he gave us some things that we needed to do, some questions that we needed to answer. And so that's what we did. Lonzie did it from post-tax money.
Yep.
I did it from pre-tax money, from my retirement money. They both work. I do want to just make note that I had never heard of a self-directed IRA until I got into real estate. And my first real estate mentor was like, yeah, you can move some money over here into a self-directed IRA. And I was like, what is that? Yeah. And so there's all these mechanisms and vehicles that we are just not taught.
Right.
And we just don't know that the wealthy is using all the time, not because they necessarily have more money, but they use the current money they have to multiply their money.
Yeah. So, and you said two words though that is really, really, truly important is for me that jumps out is pre-tax, right? Because let me just make sure I understand. You moved that money from somewhere else into that self-directed IRA, right?
Yes.
So by that event, you didn't pay any taxes or penalties. Then with the self-directed IRA, you're able to move that into your real estate deals and not have to pay any taxes or penalties on that.
Right.
But the interest or the amounts that you are accumulating off of those deals are being paid back into your self-directed IRA, which subsequently helps build up your retirement savings, right?
So yeah, I'll be taxed later.
Yeah. So I mean, hey man, that I just want people to marinate on the importance of like you said, just the different avenues that you have in doing it in a pre-tax fashion. I think that's huge. But
absolutely.
Yeah. So again, we just wanted to share with you all some real life things that are occurring, and I'll tell you on the back end of even the deal that Cynthia and I did. I mean, we came out of it good. Everything is great. Shout out to the investor. She pays on time. We sure appreciate that because everybody, but it wasn't always. It was a learning experience. I'm saying. I mean, it wasn't clean throughout the whole process, but we were able to tidy up things along the way based on what we were able to learn. So we just want to, again, just reiterate, it's not always, golden, but as long as you can collaborate, work together, leverage relationships, and everybody's on one accord, you can see a deal like that through and everybody can come out as winners. So.
Absolutely. And I just want to add before we're closing, this is why you really need partners you can trust, right? Because even in real estate deals, everything does not go as planned all the time. But if you trust your partner and you work through it, it will all work out. I haven't had, the first time I did a private money loan, the person I lent the money out to did not return the money on time. But I trusted that person because they were very successful in what they did, and I knew they were going to get my money to me. And so we just talked it out. And they were like, hey, it's taking me longer. And so I think I maybe had it out for 15 months instead of 12. But they paid me, they paid me additional interest instead of 12. So you really have to make sure you trust the person, and you're working with people who have high character, who have proven themselves, because it's always not going to work out. Even the deal where I got a 34% return, I was supposed to get the money back in 6 months. And so in 6 months, I think they gave me maybe 20%. But we talked through it. He kept me updated. And at the end of the day, at the end of the year, I ended up making 34% on the money, more than what I anticipated. So that's very important. You need to understand that in real estate.
Yes. So with that being said, hey, that concludes another episode. If anything you take away networking, right? Take away vetting your relationships, your partnerships appropriately, right? Take away the different vehicles that you can use to be able to do these deals. There's so many different avenues. And the biggest takeaway is, hey, we the plugs. So, hey, if you got a deal that you're trying to do and you need some money, someone to lend you some capital to get that deal off the ground, then, hey, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You know what I mean? You can shoot us a DM, all right? All right, so with that being said, thank you again for joining another episode of Mastering Money Mondays. We do this each and every week. And until we see you again, take care.
Bye-bye.